Hello everybody and welcome back to Alaris Labs YouTube channel. As you may know, the new version has been released and we are going to list the most important features and changes. As not all the features and corrections will be discussed in this video, you are welcome to check the full list of changes in the release notes. Please note that you can turn on the subtitles for the video by clicking on the subtitles control in the YouTube panel instruments. Check out our Facebook and LinkedIn pages to learn more about our life and business.
Possibility has been added for the new generation SMS switch to launch a sub-module that handles outgoing delivery reports of HTTP messages directly through the new generation SMS switch. This allows for more flexible configuration of URLs from the web interface and ensures a higher packet sending capacity. For this reason, the MO push URL template and DLR push URL template parameters have been moved to the HTTP callback section. Also, the following new fields have been added to the section: DLR push HTTP headers, MO push HTTP headers, HTTP request headers except content type which is configured in the internal settings. DLR push post template, MO push post template, HTTP request body for the post method. Default callback timeout seconds. The client response timeout. If not set, the default value from the same name system parameter is taken. The default value is 30. Once the new logic is activated and if the MO push URL template and DLR push URL template have a clear indication of the curl command, the original logic is preserved and HTTP requests are processed by another submodule and not by the new generation SMS switch. The old version of the volume-based deals interface has been hidden. The system job SMS VBD disp has been removed. All deals from the old interface has been moved to volume-based deals 2.0. The following values have been added for the changes pending at export mode. Standard. The original logic. Show closest. The original logic of the setting. Show closest changes. Show latest. Show the latest rate changes as of the task start date. The change analysis period is limited by the system parameter period for show latest changes export option days. System default. The value is taken from the system parameter default changes type for pending at export type. The new show latest option may come instrumental if partners are already notified of the rate change effective in the future, whereas another figure change has been added to the MCCMNC. For example, change number 1 as of August 12 and change number 2 as of September 12, and it's required to export the latest change, because the partners have been already notified of the change number 1. Parallel processing of manual recalculation tasks have been added with the help of the system parameter maximum rating job count, 0 by default, the original logic with disabled parallel processing. The parameter defines the maximum number of subtasks into which a manual EDR recalculation task can be broken down. The new parameter value only applies to newly created tasks. The task will be broken down into subtasks that are not available from the system interface. Recalculation subtask intervals also depend on the internal system parameter SMS re-rating split interval. To change it, contact the Alaris technical support team and communicate the code BZ52841. When setting both client product names and client products to inclusive list, the new checkbox "Use any client product" becomes available. The checkbox allows handling requests of the client product included either in the product list or product name list by a single rule. Please note that when the checkbox is enabled and one of the filters is set to exclusive list, the rule is checked as disabled when searching for rules. Possibility has been added to set phone number ranges when importing the E12 E164 reference book. For this purpose, the new columns start of E164 postfix and end of E164 postfix have been added. The feature may come instrumental when the reference book file contains separate columns with the country code and the range of numbers included into it. For example, 30.00999991000000. Also, the E164 column markup is now taken into account. For using convenience, E164 columns now have an order number, for example, E164-1, E164-2, E164-3. The new system parameter has been added. Pure sender ID tag search country list, comma-separated list of destination country MCC, MCC% or MCCMNC. It allows setting a list of MCCMNCs to change the logic of sender ID verification and tags. The following logic is now used when a message is received. The sender ID is translated into the new format by removing non-alpha symbols, for example, special characters and blank spaces. Also, the sender ID is translated into uppercase. The translated sender ID is used in search of translation rules within the after routing stage, except sender ID translations. The original sender ID is used in the case the routing rules are applied. Please note that the vendor rate is searched for by the original sender ID. Also, the vendor receives the original sender ID. The feature allows blocking or passing messages to specific routes that have sender IDs with special characters. For example, the carrier needs to block messages from Facebook, whereas the client sends the sender ID Facebook. By default, the priority flag value in the delivery report for the client is generated by the SMS switch. For this reason, internal parameters have been added that allow either sending the flag value from the vendor or set a static value for specific client channels. To configure the feature, contact the Alaris technical support team and communicate the code BZ51101. Possibility has been added to add an exclusive list for the sender ID pattern field by selecting exclusive in the drop-down list. By default, the list is set to inclusive original behavior. Regular expressions are supported. If the allowed IP addresses field is specified, the IP addresses will be verified for the user for REST API, campaign portal, and wholesale portal. Possibility to set an inclusive MCCMNC list has been added for the translation type SMPP vendor delivery status, error code to system status. Previously, the field was uneditable. The possibility has been added to the SMS switch to set the message ID format for the client as a monotonically increasing sequence of hex 8 symbols. The initial value is set arbitrarily. When the limit of 0x77Fs is reached, it is started from 0. To configure the feature, contact the Alaris technical support team and communicate the code BZ53407. Possibility has been added for Swap Deals 2.0 to manually recalculate the deal period. This feature may be instrumental for deals the period of which exceeds the value of the max pre-rating interval SMS parameter. Manual recalculation is available if EDRs and daily analytical cubes are available for the period to be recalculated. Possibility has been added to send rate notifications in an attachment and link at the same time. To enable this, the functionality of the system parameter ratio delivery options 1 attachment to link has been enhanced as follows. The parameter has been renamed to ratio delivery options 1 attachment to link 3 attachment and link. To enable the new mode, set the value to 3. To include the link in the email body, set the link marker in the appropriate template. The new generation SMS switch can now handle situation when the vendor sends a non-unique message ID in an unsuccessful submit SM response. Earlier, it could cause failure to enter EDRs for such messages to the database, as it verifies the uniqueness of EDRs by vendor IDs and the message receipt time in the system. Starting from this version, the message ID value from unsuccessful responses will be ignored. The following markers have been added for the cover letter and traffic detail file. Previous balance WO expired, similar to the marker previous balance with no account for payments with the enable expiry date value. Previous balance WO expired ref sign, similar to the marker previous balance WO expired with the reversed sign. Previous balance WO expired none, similar to the marker previous balance WO expired but with no currency code. Previous balance WO expired num ref sign, similar to the marker. Previous balance WO expired ref sign, but with no currency code. The expires at field has been added in the advanced simulation type for setting the parameter validity period. The new field allows for more accurate tracking that the translation rules are applied correctly and for monitoring the operation of the channel or system parameter block expired messages. If left blank default value, the value of the system parameter delivery waiting period seconds is added to the time value set for the simulation to define the validity period value. A tooltip has been added for the expires at field. Starting from the new version, in the response to the request received as per standard Alaris HTTP API from the client, the content type will be based on the body format. For example, if the response body is JSON, the content type is application/JSON. It is now possible to send email notifications on schedule report execution errors to the email specified in the system parameter support email. Please note that the feature affects the Reports 2.0 interface, and messages are only sent if the execution error specified in the parameter allowed ORA error codes for report execution has been reproduced 4 times. The tooltip has been updated for the buffer-sized field in terms of the required memory size for 1 million messages. The drag-and-drop feature has been added for the table rows of the column parameter types interface, similar to email processing rules. Please note that the changes made by a user will be shown to other users of the system. Starting from this version, when a product is selected in the test system interface, product's active parent rates are also shown. Possibility has been added to select the checkbox Add Vendor POI ID to text message when creating a task for the manual test platform. Previously, the POI ID was added by default. When enabled, the feature allows tracking the vendor through which a specific message was received when it arrives at the end user device. It is instrumental in case of a large amount of tests on a specific number with the same text. Also, the Add Vendor POI ID column has been added to the table of tasks. Starting from this version, the case register is ignored when verifying the mail task mask field. The rand letters X function has been added for generation of text or sender IDs that contain only alphabet characters in the range from A to Z, where X is the string length. Support of the currency marker has been added for sending the client account currency in the HTTP delivery report. When modifying the system parameter MCC rest of the world, a new MCC is added to the E212E164 reference book if no active MCC with this value was available. Also, after the system update to the new version, the MCC will be added to the reference book if it was not available in it. The not operator has been added as allowed to syntax verification of a condition or formula. The new system parameter user activation period has been added. It controls removal of users that did not confirm registration in the wholesale or campaign portals from the internal table older than n days. As the buffering rules interface is used for traffic buffering, the fields that control buffering have been removed from the SMS POI's interface. If SMS POI records have buffering settings, they will be transferred to the buffering rules interface as a new rule with the name by the following template, migrated from POI ID. The new markers bank core counts and bank comments have been added for invoices and invoice detail files. They are replaced with data from the respective fields of the bank account associated with the agreement. The marker core source ref code has been added for the credit note template. It is replaced by the reference number of the invoice where the credit note is designed to correct. In case of multiple invoices, their reference numbers are comma separated.
Well, these are all technical details that were planned to describe in this video. Hopefully it was helpful. In case you have any questions for getting the new version and the features that were not described here, you are welcome to contact our support team. If you have any suggestions regarding the channel development, we will be happy to get them at the following email.